Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Mr. Nobody.
Mr. Fish.
Mrs. Go Against Traffic. First time in here. How
Glad
you
to
doing?
be here.
Glad to be here. Glad to have you here.
Shalom.
Yeah.
Again. Yeah.
I'm back too.
So tell me, you guys, you've heard the term trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of?
I think of, I don't
Puff
know.
Daddy.
Puff Daddy, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Epstein.
Yeah.
I look at it as a way for
Uh,
somebody's making a bunch of money, but I haven't really read into it like you have.
Yeah, well,
I know it's a huge business.
it is. Good.
Mhm.
Good point. Yeah. It's the fastest growing criminal business, if you will. One of the reasons is if you think about selling, so it's competing with what, drugs and guns, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can sell a person 10 times in one night. You can sell a person over and over and over again,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the difference, and that's why it's
Where-
so lucrative.
Where does it take place?
Worldwide.
So it fell into my lap when I moved here to Georgia because I literally found out about it happening in a distant metro area of Atlanta, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Multiple incidences within 5 miles of my home. Considered just, white picket fences and,
Mm-hmm.
4-bedroom, 3-bath homes and everything's perfect. And you, maybe just, everybody's doing okay and not a lot. I mean, God has something. He wants us to know about this because he's placing information on people and putting it in front of them. But literally things were falling in my lap. I'm 5 miles from my home at a McDonald's. Somebody involved with a very prominent nonprofit that fights trafficking, and they were going after. So there's trafficking, and then there's satanic ritual abuse. SRA is what that's called. And so all of it's demonic, right? It's all Satan, but there's some that's like blatantly we're doing this for Satan,
Right. Right.
And this group was going to downtown Atlanta, and they were in bars praying because of the SRA taking place in the basement of those bars. And they're not called pimps or traffickers. The guys are called handlers.
Mm-hmm.
This person, she had to get out of it because her family was being threatened. And you have to draw the line, right? And for her, that was her line.
So what was your first experience with helping? How did you get into the whole?
She picked somebody up from McDonald's that was satanically cut.
No,
5 miles from my house.
I meant like, how did you get into studying it and helping with it?
Literally, people continuing to tell me stories. I mean, literally, a counselor for DFACS went to do a home check, and a little girl shared that she had a sister in the basement that nobody knew. She was off the radar. And she says that little girl was a little girl in the basement for a while. I picked up a girl walking down the side of the road, and she's very stereotypical, though, trafficked. From an unstable family, ran away from home, ended up in foster care, ran away. 14 years old guy picks her up. 14 years later, I pick her up. She'd been trafficked that whole time. She's on her third child. I call her 6 months and 7 days. 6 months pregnant and 7 days clean. He's in jail for beating her. What happens is she gets cleaned up, pregnant. Guess what? Until they can get her into her shelter, they drop her off at the same place that she's doing all the trafficking and all the drugs. And she literally walked out the door one day and she just started walking. Her dad's still around. He just doesn't do anything. She was going to walk to his house and have him go back with her to get her stuff out so she could go to the shelter because she was so tempted that morning because she was having withdrawals. But she had a baby in her. And then I'm trying to take her somewhere to use a phone to call her dad and say, I'm going to be dropped off. Will you go back with me? All this stuff. She IDs a guy where I am, where I work out. She IDs the guy walking out that I see every morning working out at the gym. She's like, oh, he buys girls at this park all the time. and they try and avoid him because of this, and this, because he's got STDs and stuff. And he's a small business owner in this community, and all of a sudden that community in that city just was just is supposed to be this high prestigious community.
So you're saying basically we're pretending like it's something that's done far away from us, but really it could be your next door neighbor doing it. In that sense,
it's very much so. And so, you know, if the children are young, let's say single digits, preteen, it could very likely be family. That's and the teens, it's social media and friends and boyfriends. That's.
So didn't you get involved with the Path to Hope thing?
I did. I didn't get involved in them reaching out and trying to get women off the streets as much as the Lord's just put on my heart that we have got to go after root cause, guys. We've got to. What's the root cause? What is the root cause? Do we take out the demand? Do we take out the supply? I was like, that's what I thought I was doing. Make people aware, empower citizens to turn these people in, or empower citizens to rescue somebody. It's all a Band-Aid if you're doing that, right? What is the missing thing? It's Jesus. You need Jesus in your heart, in your home, in your community. And you're not going to have this. And so I started just doing outreaches and checking in on these lower income neighborhoods and working with that group, because they are going in and trying to make sure they're filling any voids in, and or bringing people to believe in Jesus, or filling any voids that are in there, because those folks are more susceptible. They're desperate. That Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you take away food, shelter, people get desperate. They start doing stuff. Remember the girl we met?
Yes,
first
that's
outreach?
what I was thinking of. Yeah.
You know, she's desperate. She's trying to get herself through school. She's got 2 kids. She's making bad decisions. You know, there's songs written about this, guys. I mean, it is happening everywhere, and so we have got to be rock solid in going after this. And Jesus says, he's like, you know, it's in Matthew 25, and he says, come, you who are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, you welcomed me. I was naked, you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, you came to me. Then the righteous will answer him and say, Lord, when did we see you doing all these things? I'm going to abbreviate. And he's like, if you helped those people, then you helped me. Guys, end game is bringing Jesus to people. Bringing Jesus.
And that's
because you're not going to cut off the supply and do anything with the demand.
I can't.
That's what I told him about the flat earth thing. I said, because it's going to upset a lot of people when you talk to them about it, because nobody likes to think that they've been lied to and that they believed it. But the main thing is that it leads to talking about Jesus in some form or fashion, because you don't care if they believe in flat earth or a sphere. What you care about is that they believe in Jesus.
Because everyone will always say, well, why would they lie to us? Why would they lie? They're just trying to hide God's creation.
People don't want it. I mean, just like the flat earth makes them very uncomfortable. It takes them out of their comfort zone, right? To think outside the box. Trafficking makes people uncomfortable, and they want to sweep all that stuff under the rug.
No, nobody wants to think about it.
They do not want to, because, okay, but why? Because they don't feel like they actually, I mean, it hurts to think about it, but some of them they feel helpless. They're powerless. Guys, I mean, put on the full armor of God. You can actually do something about it.
It's like, I said something to my dad recently. I was like, you send this money off to this church or to help with this, and we tithe with that, and we think that just sending our money out somewhere is enough, but meanwhile we don't walk next door and tell our own neighbor about Jesus, you know. And it's only because, well, that would be awkward. Well, it's going to be awkward when he's in hell one day and you didn't tell him, you know.
It's a lot easier bringing it up through flat earth.
You know, that's really interesting, because that's way outside the box, you know, because people do think you're crazy. So, but you know what? We all have our platform. We all have our platform. I am very happy to help people find Jesus and go after root cause through Path to Hope.
Yeah, I think there's always a way in, and it's usually whatever you study and talk about. For me, it was, I like to talk about CERN a lot because I know a lot about it, but I use that to bring up Revelation and talk about Jesus coming back again. I feel like his thing is flat Earth, and that's how he likes to bring up topics and then eventually lead to Jesus.
The firmament and the Most High.
Yeah.
Why is he called the Most High?
Yeah.
He's on top of the firmament, like the firmament is his footstool.
Mm-hmm.
So when he does look down, it is a circle.
Yeah. And I mean, my path down anti-trafficking because of all the information deposited on me. I mean, but it was like an itch I had to scratch, and I'm like, what is the root cause? What is the root cause? I mean, there's literally women in a city nearby that they have to take taxi cabs together because the taxi cab driver they don't have driver's license. They're not here legally, and the taxi cab drivers rape them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's trafficking. There's kids adopted to learn to become thieves in areas nearby. That's no different when they're doing with kids in India, the handicapped kids in India. They put them on the streets to get money, and then they take the kids' money and they barely feed them. They just put them out there again, make them look broken, and
It's a vicious circle.
man, but Jesus will solve this, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
He will.
Mm-hmm.
And so it gets me back to Jesus too.
Mm-hmm.
Abortion.
Mm-hmm.
Abortion's a band-aid too.
Yeah, abortion is a huge topic.
And going against it is a band-aid. We got to get Jesus in there.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that's really one of the only topics that the Democrats have going for them these days is
That's
to bring up
horrible.
abortion. And it's crazy that that's like the main thing that they want to discuss is if it's okay to murder babies.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't figure out anything else that you want to push on your agenda except for transgender and murdering babies.
They call it health, women's health.
Yes.
The days of Noah,
Mhm.
well, they were, half the earth was wanting to kill babies, and the other one, you know what I mean? It's
Well,
like,
so think about satanic ritual abuse is a lot of sacrificial stuff,
Mhm.
and it's all over the Old Testament. It's just we're too civilized to do that these days. It's happening.
No.
Everything.
yeah.
If you saw a documentary on Epstein, any of y'all,
Mhm.
that you saw the clean. It was just sex with a younger teen girl. Yeah, right. No, those Robert Johnson, I believe is his name, sold his soul to the devil on a crossroad. Right, that old blues singer.
Mhm.
Guess what? That is exactly what
Mhm.
all these stars, politicians, business owners.
It's funny about Puff Daddy because back in the day when his music first came out with a Notorious B.I.G. and all that, me and my buddy loved B.I.G., but we couldn't stand Puff Daddy, and we always used to joke around and say that he was gay. And it's funny because it ended up coming true. And then to come to find out some of the videos that we had watched back in the day of Notorious and stuff, and he'd have this woman next to him, and then we came to find out it was a transgender. It was a dude that was getting out of the bed with him, and I was like, I mean, they're right there. They throw it in your face, just like President Obama we were talking about with, his husband Michael, or that we call Michelle.
Big Mike.